Hi, you're again with Volleyball Explained Podcast in our edition about Italian volleyball. Here is Nicola, our Italian expert, and I'm Bogdan.
Hi guys.
This time, our Cuban expert on Italian volleyball, Ronnie, is unfortunately not here, but I think that we both are going to do the job. This time we are going to talk about the matches between the 12th and the 14th rounds in the Italian Championship. Due to the fact that because of COVID, a lot of matches have been postponed. We're going to comment also on the matches that have been played in this period between 25th of November and today. In the day of recording, this is 15th of December. So we're going to comment also on these matches. There are a lot of matches from the 9th, 10th round also, I believe, and also even from the 8th round. So the first match we are going to comment on is the match between Trentino Volley and Vibo Valencia. Which has been played on 25th of November, a postponed match from the ninth round. And Vibo carried on their very amazing streak of wins with a win against Trentino as a guest 3-1. The thing here is that both setters of Trentino were ill from COVID. So Nimir Abdelaziz, the principal opposite and a former setter, should have played as a setter. Of course, that caused some problems, even though Nimir is also fine as a setter, but still he hasn't played for, I believe, 3-4 years as a setter now. So Vibo won. Yeah. So maybe you can start with this one as our Trentino guy, and I'll just add some things after that.
Okay. I mean, it was one of the strangest matches I ever watched due to the situation you just stated out. And Trento was without both setter and the second opposite, Argenta, because they all tested positive for COVID. So Trento tried to postpone the game, asking Vivo Valencia to do that. But being within the rules, Vivo decided not to and to play the game. And that was correct to do that, in my opinion. So, as you said, Lorenzetti had to move Abdelaziz as a setter, a role that the Dutchman played in early stages of his career. And doing so, Trento gave up its best attacking weapon. And also being without the second opposite, Micheletto played as an opposite with some receiving duties when he's in the back row. Honestly, with that situation, the first set of the game was unwatchable. When Trento players couldn't find the right distances. For example, the set point for Vivo Valencia was a set to no one by Abdelaziz, with the ball falling in an empty side, on the empty side of the court. Then from the second set ahead, Abdelaziz adjusted its sets and could connect more often with his spikers. Trento won the second set and fought till the end in the others. Lost both by a break point, actually, because they ended 23-25 to Vivo Valencia. Vivo played its game. I mean, led by Rossard and De Falco, played a solid game and proved they are a very good team. They were coming from the success against LUBE 5 days earlier, or something like that, or a week earlier. And this time they played against an incomplete team, but they never let the guard down and were more focused on the crucial points. As Baldovin, Vivo's coach, stated out, it was also a difficult game for them because they didn't know how Trentino would have played, so they didn't know which schemes they would have set up. And also when you usually Vivo would have been the underdog in this game, but they had a little bit of pressure due to Trento's situation, and it's not easy to deal with it in the Super League at this stage of competition. they did it. They won the game, and that's basically it. I don't think there's something technical to say about it. Maybe tactical, as you probably have noticed during the game.
Yeah, we should note also that Vibo refused to postpone the game like Padova did, due to the illness of Gianelli and the other players. I would add something very interesting, that during the match, like opposites played not only Micheletto, even though Micheletto played the most time as an opposite, but also in some rotations Decoy and even Srečko Lisinac, even though I believe that Nimir didn't set him even one ball. And in this situation, the libero has changed Koi, and Lisinac played in position 1 as an opposite, or at least he was faking that he's an opposite, because he didn't attack even one ball as a spiker. I didn't understand why they do this. I mean, it was pretty normal to leave and to to receive with 4, and the player who is in 1 to play opposite, if Koi or Micheletto. Piccini, the reserve setter, also entered the game, and in these situations Nimir was attacking then, and Piccini was setting. It was very, very strange and awkward, and most of the time a very chaotic scheme, and I don't think that this was the best possible way to do it in this match, honestly. Maybe we can continue with the other matches postponed, played on 2nd and 3rd of December. LUBE against Cisterna. Cisterna is in very bad shape, and maybe we're going to talk that a bit later in the end with the ranking in the league, but they are pretty much struggling. LUBE 3, Cisterna 0, and Perugia against Modena. A match that in advance you may think that is going to be interesting. Not. Perugia won 3-0 against Modena with a phenomenal play of Wilfredo Leon with 19 points in this match. So do you want to comment on Perugia Verona? Have you watched the match?
I watched not the entire match, but watched part of it and some highlights. Actually, Modena, especially in the last 2 sets, fight point to point till the end. But in my opinion, they never give the idea that they could win the set. They give the idea they could be even till a certain point, but then they somehow they would have been left back by Perugia, and that's what happened. And when you have someone like Leon, that basically, I mean, it was the best scorer of the game, and on the other side, just Petric could live up to a decent game when it comes to attack. Vettori was under 30%, I think, or something like that. It's difficult to win, especially on the road, even if there's no public and there's no crowd in the stands. But you know that Spikers has got their reference in the stands or some points on the lights when they're serving. That makes
especially
difficult.
On the surf, I believe it's
exactly.
I remember just to put it, maybe here is not the place, but still I remember that during the European Championship 2015, the German national team complained from the lights in the Bulgarian Arena Armets for the first matches, because I don't know, when they toss the ball, they are looking up. And according to them, the lights are not completely okay for volleyball or something like this. So I'm not sure if it's a pretty much a good hole is problematic in terms of attack. Maybe it depends also, but especially on serve, I believe that this plays a very important role. So even though there is no public and spectators, etc. Guess match is a guess match.
Yeah, exactly. And I will say it also later when we talk about Trento and Lube, but when you point by point at the end of the set, and Modena, both in the second and the third set, they get to the 20s before Perugia, and then it's always one between Leot or Plotnitsky from the serving line. They racked up the break point, and they turned the set for their sides. It's difficult for a team like Modena to be competitive from the start to the beginning if not everybody is doing their job. And in the end of those sets, basically Christensen didn't know who to trust to score the point. And in addition to Perugia serves and to level of game shown by Perugia, that was the big difference between the two teams.
Yeah, I believe the problem of Modena is they don't have this guy. I'm going to set the ball to you and you're going to make it. Like Leon in Perugia or Juan Torrena or even Lau in Lube, Nimir in Trento, even for example, Grozer, he's now injured in Piacenza, or I don't
Lagumgia.
know. Yeah, Lagumgia, Matej Kaziski in Verona.
Yeah,
even yeah. So this is the player. Like I believe that Rado Stoichev once told that Matej but he goes to the setter and tell him, forget that there are other players on the court. So you're going to set to me this ball. That's the thing. So next one. 12th round played on 28th and 29th of November. One match is still not played. This is the match between Trentino and Padova. As I mentioned earlier, Padova accepted the match to be postponed due to the COVID of Gianelli, Argenta, and the other setter.
Sperotto.
So, yeah, Sperotto. So the other matches, Monza Modena 3-1. As we expected in the beginning, Modena won't be that consistent this year. Vibo against Perugia. Here, the Vibo has had the chance to make 3 wins in a row against Lube, Trento, and Perugia. Didn't happen. Perugia won 3-1. Unfortunately, I was not able to watch this match, even though it was in my plans. But no technical opportunity, let's say it in that way, to watch it. Cisterna against Milano, 0-3, another loss, defeat for Cisterna. Piacenza Ravenna 3-1, and Lube Verona 3-1. Here, I believe that the only surprise was that Verona won a set. Verona has a lot of problems. That's a thing, and we expected for Verona to be a little bit higher in the ranking, but this problem with the opposites. Boyer left. They took this Danish guy Jensen, who is playing very fine for now. But the reserve opposite, so they have only one opposite, Jensen, now, because the other opposite, Kimerov, has a very tough COVID, and he will be recovering for, I believe something like 3 months more. So this is
that's what they said.
Most of the. I don't believe that he's going to return in play this season.
Season.
Pretty much so. I believe something like that. Yeah. And they have also a problem with the libero, but I think that we have mentioned that before in the podcast.
Especially you. You have mentioned many times before.
But especially in COVID financial situations, I still believe that some players, not some players, but some teams, especially the teams with less financial havings, they need to compensate with something, especially when you have, for example, Matej, who is one of the best paid in the championship. You need to compensate in some other, but this is pretty normal, of course. Yeah, and hard to do. The other thing, Piacenza. Maybe we're going to talk about Piacenza a bit more. And because in the last 4 games they have 3 wins and and defeat against Perugia, which we're going to mention a bit later. Maybe was it in the next round? Yes, in the next it is in the next round. So let's go to this next round to start talking about this Piacenza game against Perugia, 3-0 for Perugia. By the way, very interesting matches in the 13th round. Why? Ravenna LUBE again. Even I believe that also in the first round, LUBE second in the second round, LUBE again lost 2 sets to Ravenna. This time Ravenna was leading 2-0. LUBE won 3-2. Verona was leading.
LUBE didn't. LUBE didn't start with their best lineup. They were saving the players for the Champions League, for the upcoming Champions League, and then from the third set they sub in Wantorena, and they regain the usual balance, and they win They turn on the game pretty easily.
Yeah, we should mention maybe here that we are going to talk also about the LUBE game in the Champions League in the end of the podcast with Perugia. Verona was leading 2-0 to Trento, lost 2-3. Another match which was in 5 sets, Milano against Monza, 2-0 for Monza, even game 2-2. And at the end, Monza won with a tiebreak. So in this round, we had 3 matches in tiebreaks. Then Padova Cisterna 3-1 again, defeat for Cisterna, and Modena Vibo 0-3. So in consecutive matches with Modena, Perugia, Trentino, and LUBE, Vibo won 3 out of 4 matches, which is pretty perfect for them. Perugia Piacenza 3-0. I was joking that maybe our title for the podcast, even though we chose a Trentino title, should be "Make Piacenza Great Again." What do you think about this?
Well, I think the title itself could have been not so lucky, considering the last guy used something like that. How it ended up, but yeah, Piacenza is getting back to the position everybody was hoping for them at the beginning of the season, especially with the incoming of Baranovic on the setting position that brought in more balance for the entire team. Even if they're playing without Grosser, and they had to bring in another opposite, the Czech Michal Finger.
Yeah, we were joking. Nicola is laughing because we are joking that if you pronounce Michal Finger very quickly, it's like middle finger. So it's probably we shall say that the new signing of Piacenza will metaphorically the team will show a middle finger for everyone else and beat them. And that's the thing.
Piacenza is actually, I think, the second or third richest owned team in the league. So they could bring in Baranovic, they bring in Finger to replace Grosser, they bring in Musavi as a middle blocker, and they could do it because with Baranovic, which is an Italian setter, they have the 3 Italians on the court that are needed for the league, which are Baranovic, the libero Scanferla, and the middle blocker Polo. So they could start in Musavi in replace of Candellaro since the beginning of the game, and Musavi is playing very well, especially in blocks, which is his best skill that we all seen while he was playing for Iran.
Yeah, totally unuseful information. I believe that Musavi, I'm not sure how is it pronounced in Iranian, in Farsi, is one of the 7 or 8 volleyball players with more than 1 million followers in Instagram or something like this, but I'm not sure. With Maruf,
Bruno.
Bruno, one of the I'm not sure about Nishida, but one Filipinian volleyball
Probably, yeah.
player. I don't know how many. Yeah. So yeah, totally unuseful. That's about. Unfortunately, I didn't watch any match from this. No. Yeah, I'm lying. I watched a bit of Milano against Monza, but Milano without Patry, they're playing with the Canadian Mar as an opposite, and Ishikawa and Basic, and now Tine Urnaut also playing as receiver. So it's hard without the opposites, and Monza.
Maybe it
with
was Ishikawa, the opposite, against Monza. I think it was Ishikawa who started as an opposite against Monza.
I'm not exactly sure, but they played with Weber,
See,
who is the middle.
they keep rotating.
Yeah, so this doesn't help, I believe. So Monza won eventually. The other match postponed and played on the 9th of December was Ravenna against Verona, 0-3. Yeah.
We should say a couple of words about Verona and Trento.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yes. Sorry.
That was the first game after the Champions League campaign for Trento, and finally they have back Giannelli. But just not to make Lorenzetti's life too easy, it's quite time to skip the game due to an abs injury. And as you said before, Verona won the first two sets. But before saying what I think about this game, did you watch it?
No, I didn't. So, it's
because
we don't. No. Let's say it loud. In Bulgaria, we don't have the chance to watch a lot of matches, so we are not choosing what to watch. We watch what we can.
We could.
Not that many.
In the first two sets, Verona played an essential game with a great team defense. They played a high-level defense.
Okay, sorry to interrupt you. If you want for Volleyball Explained to watch more matches from the Italian League, you can, if you like our content, you can support us in Patreon, and we're going to pay for a subscription in 11 Sports. But still, the best matches, the most interesting matches are broadcasted in Rai-Sport, and we don't have the possibility to watch Rai-Sport, so it's very tricky. But still support us at least for the matches in the 11 Sports.
Yeah, on the Rai-Sports one, you should rely on me.
Yeah,
that I could watch it for free here in Italy. Well, back to the game. I said Verona played a very essential game in the first two sets, and led by Jeski and especially Kaziski, which was, in my opinion, the first two sets was a stellar level. It looks like the 2011 Kaziski. You could set up a two-way blocks, three-man blocks, the back row attacks. It doesn't matter. He just kept on scoring and gathering point from Verona. Trento by his side looked like a little numb, and they made a lot of mistakes. 8 in the first set against Verona's 5, and 10 in the second with Verona 4. If you consider that both sets has been won by Verona by a break, 26-24 the first, and 25-23 the second, or vice versa, Trento basically shot itself in the foot alone, because they gave up the two sets due to the mistakes. From the third sets ahead, Trento raised their level in serving and attacking, cut down the mistakes, and comfortably won the set. There was some argument in the tiebreak, which involved the two great Stoichev and Kaziski, because while the score was Trento up 3-2, there was a disputed ball that was called a net fault on Spirito rather than on Lisinat, as Rado and Kaziski obviously wanted. And Rado got a yellow card, Kaziski got a red card, so a point for Trento, who widened their gap. Eventually, Verona tied up at 7, but then Abdelaziz and Micheletto serves created a new gap and led Trento to the victory. In my opinion, that game was very important for Trento and for the next game they played for 3 reasons. Because one, they kept a winning streak after the Champions League. So help winning, like many sportsmen would say. They recover from 2 sets down, so they don't let the game slip. And they shown a great unity as a team. They could have drawn, but they braced themselves together and they win the game. And even more important, from this game ahead, Lucarelli started player as the world-class player we all know. Because not just against Verona, but as we'll see, against Modena and against Lube, it made the difference. It was the Lucarelli trying to pay it for, actually.
I believe that he just need time. I mean,
yeah, you need time.
Especially in COVID times where he I believe that he went to Italy a little bit later, so you need time to stick with the team, to start playing, to know your teammates, especially due to the fact that there are a lot of problems consistently. Matches are postponed, so there is no rhythm. Janelli was out, etc. So I believe that the next year we can expect Lucarelli to be full power.
And you should also consider the fact that the national team didn't play. So usually the South American players, when come to Italy, they are a little bit more trained than the European ones due to the matches played by their national teams. This summer, that didn't happen. Other than that, Lucarelli suffered the death of his father. So it also has to come back from a very tough personal situation, and then you just need to adapt. I mean, we're talking about the Superlega in Italy. We're not talking about the amateur tournament back there in the courtyard. That's the most demanding league in the world. I don't know if you remember, but 2 years ago when Leal came to Lube, for the first 2.5 months, 3 months, it was the shadow of the player is now playing at. I mean, if I don't get wrong, in the first 10 or 12 games, it just went over 50% in attack once or twice. I mean, it was, but you have to adapt, and that's the most demanding league in the world. Very few world-class players came there in Italy and seized the first game they try to dominate.
By the way, talking about the lack of matches during the summer, and the national teams played no matches. So I was thinking about making a special edition, Christmas, New Year's edition, like a summary of the year. And seconds after that, I realized that I don't have anything to summarize, because we had a lot of most of the championships were stopped, cancelled. Some of them were just the champions were pronounced according to the rankings in this moment. Then no national teams games, and then the
youth.
The league started in September or October, so I don't think we don't have anything to summarize almost. Okay, I started, but we needed to do the Verona Trento match with Ravenna Verona 0-3 with no Jensen in the squad, due to the fact that he was not registered when the match initially should have been played, which is
exactly
a little bit strange for me, but that's the rules, and like a lawyer, that's that rule shall we follow. Asparukhov, the Bulgarian, played as an opposite with very few points, I believe, but still fine. And great Matej and Tomas Jeschke. Still, it seems not as a big win, but we shall remember that Verona lost to Padova but still beat Ravenna, which is pretty much the better team of the two. So maybe Verona is making a step in the right direction. Next one is the 14th round, and here two matches were not played. Vibo against Milano due to COVID in Milano, I believe, and also the next match of Milano against Trento is also postponed, I believe.
Yeah.
And Monza Verona also not played. The other matches, all of them in 3 sets. Piacenza against Cisterna. Here we have made Piacenza great again against another idea for the title, but it wasn't to be. Is there a way out of Cisterna? Because I think that they have only 5 points. Yes, 5 points out of 13 matches, which is awful for them. And they changed even coaches. So Tubertini was changed with Slobodan Kovac, but things are not working even with Sabi also back. It's tough times, and
Despite I like a lot both the middle blockers from Cisterna, Svark and Krik.
And the setter is Bulgarian, but as some people say, when everything stinks, you take out the setter. The reserve setter of Cisterna is the 41 years of age, Daniele Sottile. A very tough situation for them. Modena Ravenna 3-0. Eventually a win for Modena. Padova Perugia 0-3. And the match we're going to talk more about, Trento against Lube, or I should say you're going to talk about it because I still didn't watch it. Trento against Lube 3-0. Smashing for Trentino, and even a little bit surprising because the first match it was 3-1, I believe, 3-1, 3-2, 3-1 between Lube and Trento.
3-0 from Lube.
3-0? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely. But actually, before Trento Lube, there was Trento Modena, because in the middle of the week, on the 9th of December, they
played.
They played, and that was the game that set the new pace, we could call, of Trento, because Trento Modena, it was a one-sided game. It ended 3-0, and Trento led from start to the end with a great performance from Lucarelli and a team effort from the service line. Modena on the other side was terrible in attacking and receiving, with all the group of these outside spikers. Gianni played Petric and Lavia from the beginning, and then subbed in Karlicek. None of them went over 27% in attacking. I mean, if your most reliable attacking player is Vettori, you have a big problem. And even if Vettori played a very good game against Trento,
persona non grata of all of us for Vettori. Maybe I'm not sure, but probably he has a darts in his home and with our faces on it.
Probably, yeah. But only the first set was undecided, mostly thanks to Modena comeback in the last points, but Trento took it. And then from the second or third ahead, the usual amount of aces from Abdelaziz, which has been, from the service line, has been a threat for everyone. Right now is leading the ranking of serving aces, more than Leon, two more than Leon, with 2 less game, 2 games played, respecting him. And Podrashanin played a great game. Lucarelli was, I would say, I mean, the game against Verona could have been, how they call it, the white fly, something that happened once every 10 games, but then he showed again against Modena. Is improving, and the game ended in less than 1 hour and 30 minutes. Gianni, at the end of the game, in the interview, said that we shouldn't pick up on the on the outside spikers because they led the team for the first segment of the season when Vettori was sleeping, and a bad game shouldn't affect them. But actually, that was the fourth, I think, consecutive defeat for Modena before the game you mentioned against Ravenna, which they won easily, most because Ravenna basically didn't show up. Modena Ravenna was so terrible from Ravenna that at the end of the game, Bonita excused himself in behalf of the club and the players. How bad they played. It was unwatchable.
In Bulgaria, we say a white swallow. So this is maybe the opposite of black swan.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So and Trento LUBE. What happened then? This is the most important point.
Yeah, it's a pity that Ron is not with us because
maybe he's hiding.
No. I mean, I'm pretty balanced with the with the judge, but Ronnie on the other side, when he has to say something, he says something without looking who's talking about. I mean, it was a similar game to the one against Modena, and Trento served way better, 8-1, and was on point of reception, letting Giannelli setting the play he wants. Just to give you the numbers, Trento ended up with 62% in attack, which is by far the highest score against LUBE in this season by any team. So they outplayed the block in LUBE. LUBE suffered a very bad day from Vantorina, who just scored 3 points with 15% in attack and was subbed out by the Georgi, who played Kovar, but he didn't do a lot. And that invalidated another great performance by Leal and Riklicki, which in the past 5-6 games they're playing at an incredible level. LUBE reception was very low. De Secco couldn't use this middle blocker as much as he wanted. Simone and Avvani attacked just 10 times combined, which is as many times as Lisnak alone attacked on Trento's side. The fast ball and the first tempo were impossible to make. Lucarelli was the MP on the game, but today, the game has been played yesterday when we're recording, everybody underlined Micheletto's performance. It was solid in reception, showed some great solution in attack, and at the end of the game, Podrasciani in the interview told Blengini, Italy national coach, he should bring Micheletto to the Olympics because at the level he's playing, it would be a pity to leave him out.
How do you compare Micheletto in his age against Pippo Lanza in his age?
There's no comparison. I mean, Micheletto is over 2 meters tall, and Lanza is way smaller. And to receive low balls by a guy that high is something that you see very rarely on a field. And is having more occasion to play due to this strange situation in Trento, COVID and the injuries, than had Lanza, because Lanza was the backup for Kaziski and Vantorena. As you imagine, in the first years, is basically watch the game from the bench. But back to the game, the turning point of the game was in the first set with LUBE up 19-19. Simone had the ball to make a 2-point gap, but sent his attack in the net. And unfortunately, for LUBE, he's also sent Abdelaziz on the serving line. And the Dutchman provided a 4-0 run for Trento that helped them win the set. As well as Leon did many times for Perugia, this time was Abdelaziz. In the second and the third set, Trento took an early lead. LUBE came back, reducing the gap to 1-2 points around the 20s. But Trento hold on and win the sets and the game. And that's a big victory for Trento, who didn't beat LUBE in regular season since the November 2016. So it was 4 years that LUBE basically get the whole points every time he met with Trento. It's the 6th consecutive win for Trento, and it's also a statement then saying that when the game will count for a trophy, Trento will be there. Right now they have a deficit in the table because of the bad start. I still think they will easily end up on the 3rd place, because right now they're 7 points back from Vibo Valencia, which is on the third.
4 points.
Because Vibo Valencia didn't play the game. Yeah, and they recovered.
Only 4 points with one
game
match.
to play.
Yes, one match less.
So I consider that match is away match against Ravenna. I'm pretty sure that Trento will close the gap to 1 point to Vibo, and then they racked up way more points than they did in the first round. So I still think that Trento will end up on the 3rd place of the table.
They should be.
Yeah, they should have been even higher from considering the team they provided. But we know all the difficulties they have, and hopefully they'll keep on running. But the next game is against Piacenza, so we'll see. There's another tough exam, and the game after is against Perugia. So
let's say it will be the clash of our titles. Or at least proposals for titles.
They couldn't breathe.
Okay, let's talk about the ranking. With most of the teams have played from 11 to 13 matches. Only Modena has played 14. So Perugia is leading. Then LUBE 5 points less, with Vibo with 22, Piacenza 21, Perugia and LUBE has respectively 36 and 31, Piacenza 21, Milano 20, and Modena 20, but with 2 matches more than Milano, Monza and Trento with 18, Verona, Padova 13, 11, Ravenna 7, and Cisterna on the last place with 5 points out of 13 matches. So still, I believe that it's not that suitable to talk in detail about the ranking. It is much better than 3 weeks ago when there was a discrepancy of, I believe, that 4 or 5 matches between the teams. Now the biggest discrepancy is between the teams of 11 matches against Verona with 14, but it's still better than before that. I believe that if things are going in this direction, but still we have these postponed matches of Milano, it's possible that maybe with a month from now we're going to have more or less an even ranking in terms of the matches played. Let's have also some words for LUBE Perugia in the Champions League, played on the 8th of December, 3-1 for LUBE. I still believe that this match is not that important, since both teams are going to be in the next round easily for me. But still, it's a game against between the 2 best teams according to the ranking so far in Italy. I also
and in Europe, I think.
Probably taking into account that the Italian clubs show that they are better than Russian clubs, so I believe that they are the best. This is not something to be disputed. I also posted in the Facebook page of Volleyball Explained that LUBE tried a very interesting scheme in blocking, not that rare, but still with Leao and Tosmani Juan Torena blocking against Leon instead of against the opposite, and there Di Cecco needed to block against the opposite of Perugia, and like as opposites of Perugia played 3 players. Atanasievich started the match, but he's not in that shape for now. Teisterhorst and Vernon Evans, the third opposite of Perugia. So it's interesting that...
Which is actually...
Yeah.
Sorry, Vernon Evans, which is actually the second opposite, because Terhorst has been
he's
thought to be
not
a set spiker. Yeah.
So it was interesting that Dragan Travica didn't use a lot the opposite option with Di Cecco blocking, and this is at least strange for me. It is absolutely sure that LUBE was the better team in this match, even though they are war in the ranking in Italy. What do you think about that?
About the game itself, you said it clearly. I mean, LUBE was best, and they put out a bad team effort during the whole game, the entire game, while Leon was on point for Perugia for the entire game. Plotnitsky was not so consistent, and then the opposite on the opposite role, Terhorst was the one who score more points, while in LUBE, Leal played an amazing game, in my opinion, and he was the one the Cecco looked at when the ball. When there were heated ball, when, as we said in Italy, palle scottanti, so the one you have to score to secure the point and arguably the set or the game. LUBE, especially in the third set, which is the one they win with the greatest gap, showed that as long as they could rely on a decent reception, because LUBE in the past 2 games faced surely in Italy, the best 2 teams when it comes down to swing, Perugia in the Champions League and Trento in the league, and they did way better against Perugia than they did against Trento, and that was shown in the second set when the reception was in the third set, when the reception was at the highest for LUBE's game, and they win it easily. Then in the last set was a point to point until the 20s, I think, and it was decided by 1 ball, 2 balls. That would always happen between great teams, that 1 ball that could decide the set and the game itself.
Yeah, I don't believe that we need to spend more time on this, because we're going to have more important matches in the future in the Champions League, and probably we can have also a final in the Champions League again between those teams. It's not impossible. So let's go to our traditional rubric then, volleyball lessons in Italian, and let's see what you have to introduce us this time.
Yeah, the 3 words of today could still be related to the rally we started to 2 episodes in the last 2 episodes. So we talked about we pretend to start a rally, and after the serve, and there's the reception and the set by the setter. If the reception is good, the setter could decide between a fast ball, which is a palla tesa in Italian, or palla veloce. It could be used both words, or a high ball, which is a palla alta. And if the spiker succeeds in scoring the point, he gets the side out, which is cambio palla in Italian.
Okay, that's absolutely perfect. And the next time maybe we can proceed to it. So what happens if the other team is defending the ball or something like this? Okay, that's all of it for today. Maybe the next podcast will be in the new year. maybe not. I'm not sure, but I still believe that 2-3 rounds will be played until the new year. So we can do the next podcast about the Italian league in the first days of 2021, which we hope that is going to be better than this one. And if this is the case, especially from the team of Volleyball Explained Podcast Italian edition, we wish you very very Merry Christmas and a happy New Year. And in German, I believe that it's a very good expression, that a very good, I don't know, glance. I'm not sure how the English word is, into the new year. So sliding, maybe very good sliding into the new year. So this will be needed, especially in these tough COVID times. If you like our content, you can follow us in all of the pages of Volleyball Explained, Piuole di Volley, and also Cuban Spike in Facebook. You can also follow Nicolas Piuole di Volley in Twitter, and also our channels, Volleyball Explained and Cuban Spike in YouTube. And if you like and our content is the best for you, you can also support us, our cause in Patreon, in order to be possible to watch also the 11 sports matches, which are again paid and not broadcasted in YouTube for free. Thank you again for watching and probably still listening. You can do it also in the podcast platforms, Spotify and all the other, Google Podcasts, Anchor, and many others. Thank you, and I hope that you're going to listen to us also the next time. Bye-bye.